Hello, hello. Hey, Sinistello, you got first. Wait, a Pressel thought Kevin got it, but Kevin didn't get it. Sinistello got it. Okay, so I think we started looking through the feedback and then the power went out. So yeah, I was talking about tips. I remember now. So you get to a point where everything is kind of automated and there's less manual stuff to do. And I was thinking, what if we added something like this in? The problem is I think we need to not do something about this because I had a friend play, my friend Sam, who played the game, and he unlocked the enchanter. This was back in like I want to say February. He unlocked the enchanter, and within like 7 seconds, he was like, "I want to automate this." He he basically couldn't have even used it for long enough to be annoyed by it, and that just immediately struck him of like, I don't want to even deal with this. So it does kind of make me think that we're always going to get feedback saying I either want more things to be manual or I want more things to be automated. And unless we, I don't know, gave players a choice or something, I don't think this is something I can do much about. Hey, Matt. This idea of leaving tips in the form of treasure chests, though, I think is kind of interesting. So I'll probably write that down. Or money bags or something. Or just customers drop money bags every once in a while. Is the screen frozen? Yeah, it's almost always frozen after launch. I got to figure out why that's happening. And then just write a script that fixes it. Thank you for pointing that out, though, Russell. Have you considered making things manually automated? Is this a real suggestion? Because I'm taking it as a joke, but maybe it's not a joke. Okay, yeah, just making sure. Customers could leave tips in the form of money bags that you have to pick up. Or maybe it's a special event where there's a loot goblin type of thing that drops them on the ground. You have to collect them. 782 people. That can't be right. No, it's 781. Yeah. Hey, Medra. All right, he said he wanted more of an incentive for manually feeding the slime since he got to the point of too much automation. He said even getting just like +1 or +2 gold would be nice. So the way I kind of look at this is, let's say we had an upgrade and we said manually feeding the slime gives +1 gold. And let's say it costs 100 gold. Then you know you need to feed 100 items for it to pay for itself. And then more than 100 for it to pay off. But realistically, like, how many would it have to be for it to really feel like it paid off? Caleb, thanks for the resub. Hey, Mr. Leans, how you doing? I'm doing pretty well. The power went off this morning and it cut the stream short, so we're back on a little earlier than I would normally be, but that's fine. How are things going for you? You have a fun weekend? Need that hoodie? I have a merch command, but it's only got the t-shirts there. The hoodie you'd have to just search Amazon for. I priced all the merch such that it's as cheap as possible. I feel like the game should be where I make the money, not the merch. Yeah, so I'm not even sure if I should do something about this. Because if I saw this perk in the game, I'd probably be like, man, I don't want to buy this. And yes, you can ignore it, but then it's always going to highlight the perks button green when you can afford that perk that you don't want. And I'm not even certain that many players would want to do this. But I should add it as a on the list, I guess. Am I really working? No, you're not. You're unproductive. Did I have a fun weekend? Did some D&D like games and hung out with some friends. When you say D&D like games, what games are those? Because I've heard of the games I would consider to be D&D like would be like Pathfinder, Gloomhaven. Yeah, just those, I guess. Because I'm not too well versed in games. Or board games, I guess. I mean, tabletop games, I should say. Okay, so where do we write this down? Perk ideas, I guess here. Do we have any slime stuff? No. Garbage slime stuff. Pies suggested having a perk to increase the to get more gold when feeding the garbage slime manually. I guess I should put this here. When manually feeding the garbage slime, plus 2G per feed per item. I'm not sold on this since I think many people don't want to manually feed the slime. So this would show up. This would cause the perks button to be lit up for a perk that isn't that useful. Maybe allow 9 adventurers at the fishing pond. This wasn't even a suggestion. I just wonder, would it be fun or interesting? And I don't think it's worthwhile to do. All right, maybe we truly have given players too much of a choice with perks and need to steer them more so that they feel like they're on track. Played Shadow Dark. Shadow Dark. Huh, interesting. Yeah, I haven't heard of that. And I definitely haven't heard of the duck theme one either. Rules light system in which characters are randomly generated. Huh, interesting. They have quite the picture on the Wikipedia page. Actual play team? What does actual play mean? Genre of podcast or web show in which people play tabletop role-playing games. Huh, interesting. I've never heard that term before. And I've heard of those things. I've just never heard actual play. Yeah, this is an idea that we had of incrementally unlock the town perks. Is gating part of each perks board behind a town hall level enough? I don't know. And part of this was based on Pige saying that he's like, oh, there are long periods of waiting, and then he was talking about the pacing a lot. And I thought, okay, maybe he's not prioritizing the right perks, but then it comes back to the whole, like, if we price everything such that we want you to get them at certain times, then what choices are you even making as a player? Hey, typical. Happy birthday. What have you done to celebrate? Yeah, so let's look at this, for example. Let's say we just didn't even allow you to get these two. Then you're basically looking at the farm and you're like, oh, I want the farm to be better. Okay, do I pick crop variety or clear rocks? It's like, I just don't think that's much of a choice. I feel like at any point you should have at least probably 3 things you can choose. Yeah, I'll leave this at the town perks thing, I guess. Maybe we do have a pacing problem around the dragon on either end. He said the beginning was a slow burn. He said he liked that the game felt good before the 2-hour mark. He said he's understanding the core gameplay loop. First hour was a bit rough with a lot of waiting. He said people will give the game a little bit more for, I think, a little bit more of a shot. Thing is, I don't know. Wait, do I know when your birthday is, Kevin? This seems to imply that it's going to be soon. I don't have a birthday written down. No, it might feel odd to share about a birthday. I don't think it's odd to share birthdays online. I think it's nice to hear happy birthday from people. You can type Adam Party in chat. Yeah, maybe it's a surprise party. Maybe I show up at your place and I'm like, I'm conducting the stream from Kevin's whatever living room. He's like, Adam, I appreciate the sentiment, but please get out, go home. Don't ever come here again. All right, so I mentioned the thing about wanting to increase the pace of items. I think that could be good. And I think we probably leave it at that. Kind of is a problem that workers are just standing around with armors. Yeah, this I don't know what to do about. I don't even have a thing about this, do I? Yeah, this issue. We got to figure out something about this. I don't know what to do for this. I want to spend a little bit of time thinking about this. So here's the problem. Let's say you have all of the shops. And let's say you have a bunch of items. You will typically run into a situation like this. Wait for it. Okay. So you'll typically run into a situation like this where you have a bunch of workers who are waiting for there to be a slot available. Can I like full screen the image view of this? You can probably turn this off somehow, right? But I don't want to like permanently turn it off. Now, let's just do it like this then. All right, so problem. If all shop slots are full and a worker is already holding an item for that shop, they'll just stand around the shop. And I have not thought of a way of like nicely solving this. So option one, have them drop the item. Another worker would just pick it up. Or it would disappear. Option two, have them go to the garbage slime after some amount of time to feed the slime. This could even be a perk. Option three, make some kind of perk where perk or skill to address this. E.g., change the customer spell to be buy the most valuable items in town for each customer that you have, rather than just increasing their speed. To stream from somewhere else without acknowledging it. Thing is, most people wouldn't even know if I just took the green screen down. I mean, the people who watch the stream all the time would, I guess. But they'd be like, whoa, what? There's a room behind you? Hey, Hata. Hey, I'll go. They just live their life. You know what would be really cool about that? Imagine if you were on the set of a TV show. You'd need a lot of sway to do that. But imagine if I were just on like the Big Bang Theory set and like the actors were there. And they were all just doing their own thing too. You'd be like, what in the world am I watching? How did he set this up? So changing the customer spell is kind of interesting. This would, if it is a spell, it would only help after getting the enchanter, obviously. We're getting backfill for them. Now I can't rest and vest. Oh no, it's just vest. It's work and vest. Work and... I can't think of a rhyming word that would mean to prosper. Nope. Nor can this. Oh well. Hey, Octay. Or Okte. Did I do the same thing when you first chatted in here? I guess that was 7 years ago, so I don't remember. I don't even know if that was your name back then. But hi again. I want to quit so bad, but they keep giving me stock. You can just quit if you want. All right, so what if we went with option two here? So what would we even frame this as? Something like when a worker is standing around for 20 seconds with an item that they can't, with an item have them feed it to the garbage slime. Yeah. Hmm. I'm not sure. Maybe we can approach this from a different direction here. Could we somehow stop this from happening? I guess your warehouse would need to be big enough. I guess we could just stop having skeletons prioritized. Yeah, we could. I guess we could. Yeah. We could just have workers. We could just have a scheduler sort of thing. Even then, no, it's kind of silly. I don't think we'd want to stop this from happening necessarily. Want to stop it. Imagine if you have only one free space in your armor shop, but 10 available skeletons and 10 armor items in your warehouse. Right now, all 10 skeletons will pick up an item and walk to the shop, but only one will be able to stock the item. However, on the way there, maybe more space was freed up. Also, even if that didn't happen though, you may not want them to sequentially walk over there. Hey, Ezra, what's the Skelly selling? Selling helmets and cloaks, and what is that? I don't actually know what that is. Because I think the graphic used to look different, and now I don't even have the old graphic. I think it was the old, yeah, I think it was the old breastplate, but I think it was metal before. So I think some of the graphics changed slightly, although I think that's fine. How's it going, Ezra? Have you thought of making town perks interesting? Hey, Paj, I watched the whole video and I shared a response on Discord, and if you responded, I haven't seen it. But I think the basic conclusion, and this is something that's it's worth talking about, but a casual game versus a game with a lot of depth. I always kind of think about this in terms of Animal Crossing versus PoE. Like, what if you added the mega skill tree of PoE to Animal Crossing? And I think the result would be Animal Crossing players would revolt. They just go nuts, right? And same thing in PoE. If you like turned it into Animal Crossing, I think you'd alienate all the PoE players. Imagine if you had a bunch of cutesy characters and it was like very slow and turn into PoE 2. Chilling for a bit before going live. Nice. Is it lunchtime where you are? I think at one point I learned where you live. It sounds so creepy. I think you might have it on. Yeah, you're in the same time zone. Yeah, okay. I figured. Yeah. Because I was gonna say, I think you and I had very similar journeys. I'm also in the Pacific Northwest and also used to work for Google. It's only happens when storehouse is full and not fully upgraded. No, it can happen when the storehouse is not full and it doesn't need to be fully upgraded. Because the scenario here is that you have skeletons holding armor items and they will only ever bring them to the shop. What you might be asking is, will they ever go to the warehouse with this item? And they won't. Because if customers go and buy this, you want them to be here to restock quickly. Anyway, yeah, Paj, so to wrap up what I was saying here, at some point, it's going to be that somebody's outside of the target demographic for a specific style of game, right? Like PoE and Animal Crossing are not competing games with one another, but they're because of their genre. But if they were somehow, they'd still not really totally be competing with each other because of the level of casualness in it. And I brought up Minecraft Dungeons. I actually am curious if you played that game, but Minecraft Dungeons I would describe as a casual ARPG. And you know what do they describe it as? Minecraft Dungeons. Or what does Wikipedia describe it as? Any of that stuff? Where's Wikipedia? Okay. Dungeon crawler. They use the word casual or light. Simple gameplay and use of procedural generation were met with a more mixed reception. Short story and lack of depth criticized. Interesting. And I wonder what this got on Metacritic. About 70%. Yeah, interesting. Out of curiosity, what did Titan Quest get? I did not really like that game. That did about 10% better. So, I mean, I recognize you can only get 30 percentage points higher than 70. There is no extra credit on Metacritic. Do Adam viewers want to see game dev how to? I assume. Again, weird thing to say, but I assume you mean with you. I don't want to be in a hot tub stream though. That's some stupid difficulty at times. Melee in that game used to be so brutal. I played it a bit, although I'm very torn on ARPGs in general at this point. I consider them to be like a social game for me, or a social genre, I guess I should say. Like, I don't want to play an action RPG alone. And actually, the most recent time I did this was I played WoW alone. WoW is not an action RPG, it's an MMO, so a lot of things are drastically slowed down. But still, it's the same concept. If I played Diablo 2 again, like I like Diablo 2, and if 5 real life friends were playing it, I'd probably have a blast. But if 0 real life friends were playing it, and I were playing it with 5 online people, I probably still wouldn't find it all that fun. Executive director of Godot Engine. Wow. Also, Ezra, I do feel the need to share one of the only chat rules I have here. Try not to segment messages. I like to view RPGs as MMO light. I don't care to play solo. I think that's a good way of looking at it. Yeah. I think, I mean, a lot of these are very like loot driven games. And if you find loot that you can't use, then trading becomes a thing. And you need people to trade with, of course. So anyway, I sidetracked myself because Pi showed up and I wanted to respond to some of this stuff. It's kind of a problem that workers are just saying. So yeah, so this is the problem that we had. And the ways that I kind of talked about fixing this is we have a perk where they maybe go to the garbage slime. There's another, I think this is reasonable, except for when what would this feel like as a player? I guess you'd see your skeletons go over here. Some of them would stock items. The other ones would wait. And then at some point you'd see them be like, all right, I'm done waiting. And then they'd walk over to the slime and just feed the slime. Would that feel good or bad? Especially if this thing gets sold right after that. Like, let's say they started walking to the slime now and then you did this. And now you're like, no, there's a free slot. Why are they going over there? And walk back to the thing. And I don't want them to just keep bouncing back and forth, but I don't want this to happen either. Where there's like a severe bottleneck. And sure, you can upgrade the shops. So I could do this and then they're gonna fill in these slots. But then they still have to wait. There are only so many of these. Shouldn't they put it in the storehouse if it's open though? Isn't that the point? So no, I don't want them to bounce back and forth between two places. So imagine something like this. We have like 10 skeletons waiting for a slot. They can't find it, so now they walk back to the warehouse. Then a customer comes and buys one. So on their way to the warehouse, they turn around. But then another skeleton puts an item down. And then they walk to the warehouse again and then walk back and walk. So they'd basically just be stuck in like this general area every time a customer buys an item, which is why they wait where they are now. So yeah, I think after some amount of time waiting, I think putting a limit on this is good. And then I think we actually do have a problem, and I don't know what's causing this exactly, but I think we do have a problem where armors don't sell as much as the other items. And I need to look at the code to find out why. But yeah, I think this is a decent perk, and it could be here. Some extra perk saying like, if workers wait for too long with items, that they go and dump them. Kind of makes auto eat a little redundant. Yeah, although this is a problem with the warehouse even existing. Like, let's say we do have too many items for everyone to handle. If these are